A gentleman named Ludwig Borne said, "Losing an illusion makes you wiser than finding a truth." And that reminds me of something that Gloria Steinem said, that the first problem for all of us, men and women, is not to learn, but to unlearn. And as you may know, Ms. Steinem was interested in, the roles of women, and I find it very telling that she has cast that in the light of unlearning, the relationship between the genders, that we need to unlearn the ideas that we have first. I'm still thinking through these kinds of ideas about letting go and losing what you have instead of trying to go for better or more, because I'm really good at wanting to go for better and more. I think it's exciting. That's my personality, and maybe it's human nature. But I also think, this is what I think, that when we're born, we're already born in a condition that is natural to love, and add anything else on there that you want. But, babies are ready to bond and to love and to have joy, and to, they don't worry about who they're playing with when they're a little bit older, And it's only as we, I call it editing for the paradigm. We have to induct our children into the current storyline so that they can manage in the culture. That sounds like a good thing, but I'm tending to think that it's not. Because we have to shut down portions of ourselves in order to, first of all, survive in our family, and second of all, to sort of navigate in our culture. And one of the things that I care about is I absolutely do not want my children fitting well into this world. If they fit well into this world, I've done my job wrong. I want their entire being to be a challenge and a descent to this world on some level. But applying this to thinking about peace and our relations with our neighbors and with, strangers in far countries and groups of people. And again, we learn a lot of ideas about groups of people, and we also learn ideas about how, people should act, and if someone doesn't meet our expectations, and we learn what we think are characteristics of groups of people. Those are called stereotypes, and we think we have some kind of truth from those when the opposite is true. We're completely blinded by the quote-unquote information we have. And so it's better to just let go of all of those things and realize that you don't know anything, and to just anything that you can possibly apply this to. Even when my son went to culinary arts school, and he'd been cooking in our home since he was very small, and he was an everyday cook. He would wake up and bake something every morning. Thank heavens he also did the dishes. But when he went to culinary arts school, one of the things I told him is, I said, you might want to forget everything that you think you know about cooking. Just go in there, instead of thinking that you already know things and that you're going to tell the teachers about what you know. Just remove everything from your mind, because whatever you did at our house probably isn't the way that culinary arts does it, you know. And just go in there and, you know, learn from the beginning with them. And I know for me, as I've tried to redo my view of the world, I actually have stripped everything. And I did it like all at once, kind of, because even things that I held very near and dear to me that I felt like I couldn't like get rid of completely, I held them in suspension. I'm just like, okay, I'm not going to, obviously these are too strong for me, but I'm going to just put them over here for a little while. And I'm going to start at blank slate, and then what is it that I know? And it's actually very little in a good way, especially if you don't turn on the TV or things like that. Because the only thing I know is when I walk out my door and I know the sky, I know the lizards, they're the things that are here with me. I know a few things like my house and my car and my children. I don't know anything else. I don't even know if there's a president of the United States, because I've never met him. He's not in my world. I also did this with, trying to redo some ideas about God. I just stood on my porch, and instead of having ideas about God, I felt loved by the sky, So it wasn't that I found God missing, or what I call God missing. I like the word. I know it's a difficult word for a lot of people, and it's difficult for me, but it's one syllable, easy. It's other than picking a different word, I've just kept with that one. Well, I think I'm kind of rambling, so I am going to close, but just ponder on those quotes for yourself and see how they might apply. And just be very careful, again, as we meet people that you think you know something about, in terms of world peace. Just why don't we go back to the fact that we don't know anything about each other until you've asked, until you've sat with someone. And the things that they're going to tell you is their life. If they trust you, they're going to tell you their pains and their angers and their maybe they'll have a story that they haven't laid down, but it won't hurt you to listen, So just keep unlearning and losing your illusions, and just I call it a minimal paradigm. Carry a minimal paradigm. Keep asking yourself, why am I carrying this idea? Do I need it? And most of them you don't need. And the ones that you don't need, you can say, well, do I like this? And you can have preferences about the pieces and elements that you want in your paradigm, but be honest with yourself about the fact that it's just something you're building, you're constructing. I like this. I like thinking this way. I like imagining this way. I like creating a world this way. And if you're creating a world that includes you being against or harming someone else, please don't do that. I mean, you can, but I'm asking you not to. That's what the whole world is, but the trouble is people think that that's real instead of just something that they built. So keep unlearning, and we'll see you next time.